Assalamu alaikum, fam. Hope you're doing well. So, I really want to talk to you today about pregnancy and how you should want to have peace during pregnancy. This may seem like common sense to people who are not really raised around degeneracy, but I think it should be stated, especially due to the, social conditioning and marketing that is aimed at the youth today. And I think some women forget that if you pick a bad boy, an imbecile, somebody who is truly not father material, you will have a more tumultuous pregnancy, and that is actually misery. And I think most women, if they sit down and truly reflect about what would their dream pregnancy be like, it would be more of the classic ideal of home, content, peace and tranquility, cooking, relaxing, being a homebody. And wearing loose clothing and not having to be in customer service or getting yelled at by a manager, right? The stress that comes with work. Some, they would love to stay home and just grow the baby, sleep when they need to sleep, and let that whole process of growing a human being be as truly stable and peaceful as it can be. I've seen women who were really ghetto and loud and trying to fight while pregnant. I myself once had a woman who was pregnant, like literally telling me, "I'm not pregnant," in my face, and she wanted to fight. Now, any smart person knows if you hit a pregnant woman and her baby passes away, you can be held, on trial for, murder, homicide, or whatever it is the charge is, I forget. But you can get in some serious trouble, even if she hits you first. You should never, ever hit a pregnant woman, and no pregnant woman should be so ghetto and ratchet that she's trying to get into a fist fight while pregnant, right? Some women are really brainwashed and don't even love their own baby inside their belly, that they will risk, losing their child because they want to get in a fight with some chick and they can't control their emotions and anger. So this gets to my point of how women, when you're trying to pick your partner, picking a bad boy who's a drug dealer, a scammer, a drinker, a partier, a casino lover, all those types of bad fields, that type of living isn't going to create a lot of peace and stability for your pregnancy. And your pregnancy is supposed to be a special time for you. Now, I know recently, a certain multicolored flag mafia is changing what it means to be a mother, and they often degrade the process of pregnancy. They mock it and say like, "Oh, you think you're a woman just because you can have a baby?" It's really sick how that particular group degrades the magnificent process and gift that Allah Azza has given us biological real women to grow a soul inside us and then to give birth to it. It's an amazing, wonderful, beautiful thing that the media has turned into a oppressive, toxic, abusive, subjugated position, right? And I hope with this video to inspire you to see your pregnancy as a vacation from the world, a time where you can relax and not have to chase the money. And even if you're poor, you should still be happy with being safe at home with a man who will provide. It is a very vulnerable state, but it's only really vulnerable if you picked a partner who only liked you for your body. There are men who openly cheat on their women when they're pregnant because they're no longer sexy, right? But that comes down to you picking a man who doesn't just like you because of your OnlyFans profile, or because you hooked up with him on Tinder, or your birth control failed after you slept with the 50th guy, right? The process of growing a human should be peaceful, relaxing, And you should be able to go by the ocean, go in the woods and relax in a safe area, obviously. You should be able to be in your garden. These are an ideal, beautiful thing. Now, the feminists have turned it to where you want to be in a suit that's made for pregnant women, to where you're in the office, pushing paperwork, responding to emails, really stressing yourself out, pushing your body to its limit, to the point where you're always having hormonal mental breakdowns, and they push that as like the queen boss status. When in reality, you don't want to be like Cardi B, who was pregnant on stage, or like the other really rich corporate women who, as soon as their baby's born, they chuck them off to a nanny and bottle feed, and then they go off chasing more money. A more peaceful, tranquilic, natural, traditional, satisfying way is to have your 2 years of pregnancy life. And that it is okay for you to crave that kind of calm, cozy little cottage vibe. Or even in your beautiful castle energy where you have your land, your estate, and your beautiful child is growing inside of you as you tend to your chickens, as you practice on your sewing machine, even while you play a little video games maybe, while you're praying your salah. Being comfortable and being able to go out for a little breakfast maybe, and come home and make yourself a nice dinner for you and your partner while your other children play. This is a wonderful goal, far superior than a diploma. When you crave to have a peaceful pregnancy, you will pick a partner, inshallah, who will facilitate that wonderful time period. And it's unfortunate if you have a difficult pregnancy, where you're crying a lot, where there's stress, you're afraid, you're filled with anxiety, you hopefully can endure that. And then the next round, hope that your second, third, fourth, fifth pregnancy will be more peaceful. But bad women, they really encourage you to more of a chaotic lifestyle. Like, you can still dress kind of like you're not pregnant, drink beer, smoke cigarettes, act a fool in the club while your belly's hanging out. This is a very unnatural, unhonorable way to behave, right? A lot of women suffer more with their mental health because they're trying to act like they're not pregnant, and they're rejecting this sort of settling down, growing up vibe, right? Once you become pregnant, you should start the transition of maturing spiritually, mentally, and you should want to be ready to just settle your life down and cut off that sin. And you should do everything around the benefit of your little baby. I know it's hard to think about because we have abortion-loving culture that glorifies pulling apart babies, dumping their corpses into a bucket, putting them in a plastic bag, shipping them in a freezer truck for science to play with in a lab, right? We understand that this has been conditioned upon the American women and across the world through movies, musicians, and really horrible Hollywood actors who will pay on Judgment Day. But if you can break out of that programming for a minute while I talk to you in this video, you'll see that a bad boy is a disease upon the earth, and only a negative for your spiritual health, for your mental health, and for your pregnancy and your childhood. And that if you get a righteous, pious man, works hard, disciplined, does his prayer, lowers his gaze, he pays bills on time, right? He just simply requires you make a nice meal. You can practice, you can learn. Laundry, vacuuming, little tiny things that'll make him feel cozy, right? And loved and cared for. The reward will be you having a calm pregnancy. Too many women now are uncomfortable with calmness. They crave chaos because reality TV shows like The Bad Girls or Jersey Shore, or old ones, like shows like kind of like that make women feed off of drama. The Real Housewives of so-and-so, Basketball Wives, all that kind of toxic trash that creates babies who suffer while in the wombs of their mother, right? The poor child is suffering because the mother is being fed upon by these sort of sick, psycho vampires who are really maximizing attention energy at the expense of peace and tranquility. So understand that you want to have a peaceful neighborhood, right? And being in the countryside is a little bit better than being in the city. You want to have a Second Amendment, because if your husband's at work and you literally have to go to a doctor's appointment, if you go and get trained with a specialist on how to use a firearm, you'll be safe from all the drug addicts and criminals. As leftists want to defund police, they champion this, check out all their articles on it. As they push to take away your gun rights, you as a pregnant woman around, and they also want to legalize, tax, and regulate all drugs. So leftists are literally making more drug addicts on the street, less police officers to save you, and reducing your right to defend yourself. So you as a pregnant woman are put in 3 forms of danger because of the left-wing policies, right? And with their new bathroom policies, you as a pregnant woman, even going into a bathroom because of new regulations, might encounter a mentally ill person high on drugs who's heavily confused and should have been institutionalized. You may encounter a weirdo and not have a man there to defend you from an assault. And you have to be ready to defend yourself. So, if you avoid the cities where a lot of the liberals are and their woke agendas and their degenerate Babylonian, philosophy, you can have a peaceful pregnancy. Okay? Some rich liberals are able to have, a way to avoid the ghetto neighborhoods, and they have a very peaceful pregnancy. But if you're a poor person in a liberal area where their woke policies on crime are enacted on you, you're going to have a little bit more difficult time. But if you sacrifice vanity for your pregnancy and you move off to the country in peace and tranquility, you have a firearm, you have a guard dog, your man maybe has to drive 30 minutes instead of 10 minutes to his job, and you have, a very good doors that are locked and heavy, and you're familiar with your local sheriff, inshallah, you can have a more peaceful pregnancy. A lot of women today are not taught about wanting to have a peaceful pregnancy. Instead, they're taught, okay, go on a diet right after. Go back to work as soon as you can. Abort the baby if you can. Choose your college over your pregnancy. Your diploma matters more than the soul of your child. They have a lot of really sick talking points. And when you bring it up, these feminists, secular, liberal atheists, they get extremely, viciously angry, foaming at the mouth with their hatred for traditional motherhood and traditional gender roles, to where you have to almost guard yourself against them and not follow them into the pit of despair. Because on TikTok, you're starting to see these women who are 35 crying, that they can't find somebody. I've been seeing people post these videos more and more now, where the very people who champion that type of consciousness are now falling victim to the fruits of that philosophy and are now realizing they have made a mistake. So, be careful in following their footsteps, okay? So, please, consider the importance of having peace and tranquility when you're pregnant, and that you are blessed by Allah Azza if you can have your baby and you're like, okay, you're 6 weeks pregnant and you realize, do I have to work? If not, let that stupid job go. Let it go. Be home. Make homemade organic food for your family. Quality milk, okay? Good fruits and vegetables. Take walks in nature with your security dog. You have a firearm. You have your children. You have this safety and security. And to be safe, if you can have a male guardian, take him with you, obviously, and have him have the Second Amendment, because the worst thing you can do as a pregnant woman is to believe people who say there isn't dangers in the world. Tons of criminals hurt pregnant women all the time, okay? And sitting inside, doctors have mentioned, is not exactly the healthiest thing for your baby and, for your mental health. You have to move your body. If you can get a wonderful treadmill, subhanallah, that's awesome. If you can get a tiny little treadmill and you can walk on it carefully, don't hurt yourself while you're pregnant, and you're listening to some, tajweed, you're doing something, you're on your little treadmill, that's very cute. It's very good for you. Or you have a backyard, you can put the treadmill outside or in your garage, wherever you think, but be careful with the garage because of the chemicals of oil and the car exhaust and stuff like that. But my point is, you want security, stability, peace, and tranquility while pregnant. That is the ideal goal. Not a diploma, not being a CEO. The best thing women have wanted for thousands of years is to have a safe pregnancy, to protect their beautiful babies and let that little cute, adorable human grow. Not squeezing it into tight pants and trying to hide your belly so that the men in the office can check your butt out and think you're hot. Okay? You're going to go through, food cravings. You're going to want to be cozy. These are the best ways to have your pregnancy. I remember working while pregnant, and I've shared many times how it was painful, and I wish I didn't have to do it. So I'm urging you, if you don't have to work, don't do it. And relax your womb. Read, pray. Oh, imagine you're in a wonderful loose, dress. Those really pretty, like they have a bunch of beautiful Islamic loose clothing. And you have your little, cozy, fuzzy socks on. You're drinking some decaf tea. You're looking up at the sky, doing your prayers. I mean, you can take a nice warm shower with all your fun scented soaps. You name it. You can make all kinds of goodies at home. And your partner comes home. You're happy to see them. I mean, the peaceful, loving, just whirlwind of tranquility is far superior than, you drinking beer, trying to go out on the weekends with your friends, having a ghetto, nasty, hoochie mama lifestyle that literally harms the child, harms your mental health, and gives you PTSD memories during your pregnancy that'll make you resent your own baby because of the behavior you engaged in. So, please, don't pick a bad boy. Pick a calm, rational, sober, fortified, spiritual man. That is the goal. Even if he's not the most sexy, even if he's not the most wealthy, even if he's not the tallest or he's balding, what matters is the child growing in you. The child growing in you matters more than your career. The child matters more than your girlfriend's opinions at work. The child matters more than your customers. Okay? We have to start putting the babies first. Feminism has put babies on the chopping block, marriage on the chopping block, and we have to save other women from following that path. If they willingly go into it, after they've been warned by women who are very familiar with the trauma that comes with it, well, that's up to them. Allah has put them on that path. Off with them, right? But take this advice as a big sister, friendly woman at the coffee shop who you see, and understand that peace during pregnancy is better than gold. Okay? Your children having fresh nappies, you have a laundry machine that works with excellent, wonderful smelling fabric softener, you have scented candles or incense, a humidifier, wonderful house plants, a total nest, total peace, cute. You can even have fun, redecorating. Whatever it is, women can have so much fun in the palace of their home than in the cubicle at work, or God forbid, being a waitress like I had to be, dealing with insane, retarded customers. Understand that you shouldn't see pregnancy as a punishment. You should not want chaos during your pregnancy, and that you should look at it as your time to fully manifest your motherhood and to be appreciative that Allah has given you a fertile womb and A human heartbeat beats within you, and you should do everything within your power to facilitate the healthy growth of that wonderful, cute baby who is going to be the apple of your eye, inshallah, to the day you die. Okay? Take this advice. Okay? A feminist is probably listening to this and ripping her hair out and probably, on her way to the abortion clinic. No one can really help those women because they're so deeply spiritually scarred. So it's really hard to get through to them. Okay? They have a very inverted soul. So take this, to the already spiritual women or women who are getting tempted by that group of women, and realize you are richer than them if you get to stay home and be peaceful, even if you have less money in the bank account. Because like I've said many times, wealth isn't always measured in a monetary format. Wealth can be measured in so many different ways. So think about what I've said. If you already are pregnant while listening to this, and you're working, have a serious talk with your partner and see if you can stay home. Okay? This is why having hobbies is important. This is why, being more than your job is important. Because when you're going to go have your pregnancy vacation, even though it's still not technically a vacation because you have your growing pains and such, but your moment of, quietness, hopefully, you have to have ways to fulfill your time and prepare your wonderful little nest for your potential little cute babies. Okay? So keep that in mind. And I hope that you found some wisdom in this video, because that is my intention. And may Allah give you the best pregnancy, and may you not have to work during your pregnancy, and may you have a very low stress, very safe pregnancy. Have a good day.